Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much once again joining me for tea time, getting to the end of some fireside. That smokiness of the lap song, guys, so good. So good. I hope you're joining me with your cup of tea, maybe a cup of coffee this morning. Just hanging out, talking photo, talking video, maybe some tech, Starlink, whatnot. Today's going to be a photo day. So, as you can see with the title, 9 reasons why you should buy a refurbished Canon EOS R today, right now. Well, I guess the title's a little bit misleading. It's going to be a lot more than 9 reasons, and I'm going to get into that today. And I want to say that before we get into anything, if you haven't picked up any of my ebooks as of yet, go check them out. They're free, just for you being here. Go over to JCristina.com/books. Once again, JCristina.com/books. They're free. Go get them. So anyways, we picked up just recently, a couple of days back, a Canon EOS R. Now remember, that's about 3.5 years old as of now. Now, I do this all the time. I always pick up refurbished cameras because they're really good value, and value is everything today. So there's twofold here why I ended up buying this camera instead of buying like another 5D Mark IV. I needed another camera, especially a 5D. I didn't want to get a 1D. The reason why is because I already have the 1Ds. The 5D, one of them kind of went south. I need a backup. And I was thinking back and forth, should I get a 5D Mark IV, they are workhorses, to have a duplicate basically of the ones that I have? Just so you know, guys, if you haven't been around this channel for a while, I have a ton of Canon cameras and lenses, just thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth. I have a 20D, a 30D, a 40D, 70 Mark II. I have a 6D, a 5D, 5D Mark II, 5D Mark III, 5D Mark IV. I have all the 1Ds, not all, 2, 1D. So I have a lot of cameras. So I always want to have backups whenever I go on a job. For the most part, if I'm shooting professionally, I need something that's really fast. A workhorse, I'll shoot a 1D. But for the majority of my work that is just portraiture or whatnot, a 5D Mark IV is just awesome. They just do the job, and they're smaller, more compact than a 1D. Anyways, I was going back and forth and debating going with a EOS R and the EOS 5D Mark IV. There was a bunch of similarities. They have the same sensor. They are very much so the same camera. One mirrorless, one mirrored, one DSLR, one mirrorless, however you want to look at it. So I said, let's go and take a look at it. And I looked at some of the specs and whatnot, and I found the camera, both of them, refurbished over on Canon's website. Now, I buy a lot of refurbished cameras. I'll get into that by the end of this video and why I think that it's actually a good thing. Back again to value. So, number 1, the Canon EOS R1 will be coming out soon. That's one of the reasons why I didn't go with like an R5, because a lot of people are like, why didn't you just go with an R5, right? To replace your 5D Mark IV? Well, value, once again, value. So, anyways, there's a couple of things I want to show you, a 5D Mark IV versus an R as of today, what the differences are and what is the price difference. And I think that you're going to get some value from this, and you'll get an idea, even if it's not a Canon camera that you're looking for, maybe it'll give you an understanding of why you should look at factory refurb over anything else when it comes to cameras. So before we get into the back and forth between this versus that and whatnot, I'm going to just show you the camera. This is that EOS R that I picked up. I did pick up the adapter for it, but as you can see, it is really quite small in comparison to a 5D. Let me see, which one is this? This one, well, this is a 5D Mark II, whatever. Anyways, look at the difference. I mean, it is a big difference when it comes to the camera body itself. Maybe I'll throw some up on the screen also so you can see a really good comparison. Anyways, if we look at the cameras themselves, anti-dust shutter, we see that in the EOS R, right? So when you pull off the lens, it does have this shutter mechanism that, let's say, saves you from getting dust in the camera. 100% no, but it does help. Whereas like the 5D Mark IV, of course, does not. Also, the LCD screen itself. The EOS R LCD screen is a fully articulating screen, whereas the 5Ds do not. I absolutely love the fully articulating back panel because I am a hybrid shooter. So I'm shooting photo and I'm also shooting video. And for video, to be able to just flip that screen around and see what's going on, or flip it the other way and show your talent, it is very, very powerful. My personal opinion, I just love a fully articulating back panel. Now, when it comes to maximum ISO, even though they both have a 30 megapixel sensor in it, 30.3 versus the 30.4, whatever, let's call it a 30 megapixel sensor, the difference is the sensitivity. You're looking at about 25% higher maximum ISO. So from 32,000 ISO on the 5D Mark IV, whereas on the EOS R, you can get it all the way up to 40,000 ISO. Would you ever do that? No, because it'll look like crap. But it does push that sensor a lot further. It is an update of the same sensor, I believe. Also, the number of focus points is just night and day. The Canon EOS R has 5,655 points of autofocus right across, let's say 90% of your entire sensor. It's just crazy. Whereas with the Canon EOS 5D Mark IV, you're looking at 61 points. So you're talking about a ton more points or autofocus points. They both have amazing autofocus. It's dual pixel AF, as we know to be fantastic when it comes to Canon. It's always been great. And with all of these cameras, it continues to be great. Unless Canon decides to cripple the camera, but luckily they didn't with this one. Now the LCD panel is 29% higher resolution on the EOS R in comparison to the 5D Mark IV. 29% higher resolution is not bad. So you're looking at 2,100K on the EOS R and about 1,600K on the 5D Mark IV. Now, as far as the continuous shooting, not too much has changed here. You're looking at 8 frames per second on the EOS R and 7 frames per second on the EOS 5D Mark IV. So 1 frame faster shooting. These are not a 1D that we're shooting 15, 16 frames per second, just motoring. You're not going to do that with this. This is not a sports shooter, in my personal opinion. You just don't get enough frames per second to shoot sports, at least for me. Also the weight, you're looking at 660 grams on the EOS R in comparison to 890, almost 900 grams on the 5D Mark IV. Also, as far as connectivity, the EOS R does have Bluetooth, whereas the 5D Mark IV does not. The EOS R, the minimum focus sensitivity is EV -6, whereas on the 5D Mark IV, it's -3. So with the EOS R, you're going to get better low light autofocusing, which for me is very important. But sometimes I'm in, not even sometimes, a lot of times I'm in absolute crap lighting environments. So that is very important. An extra 3 EV, I'll take it all day long. Now, both of the cameras do have that absolute terrible 4K crop, which is 1.75 times crop. Don't like that at all, but it is what it is. In some situations, you actually would like that crop. So it depends on what you're doing. I've seen a lot of people that will throw onto the camera a EFS lens. That's what we see right here in comparison to an EF lens to get that additional punch in, let's just call it. And I'm going to get into that in just a second. Also, I absolutely loathe what Canon did with their codec. When it comes to the 5D Mark IV, they use this just god-awful MJPEG codec for video. So you do 4K, you get this file that is just a monstrosity that most computers can't even deal with. You have to transcode it for half an hour or longer just to be able to use the footage, whereas the EOS R does not do that. It gives you proper footage, right? So you end up with your H.264, 265 or whatnot, which is a standard footage that you'll actually be able to throw on a timeline and be able to do your edit without having to transcode. So that is absolutely massive. Also, the other thing that I really didn't like was the multifunction little slider on the back here. Can you guys see that? This thing is complete crap, all right? I actually shut this off in the menu system because it just is horrible. And obviously it is horrible because none of the future cameras that they put out have this damn thing on it. I wish they just kept with the dial and called it a day. What I end up doing is I just use this multifunction button over here. I click that to change my ISO instead of playing with this garbage. I don't even know. Anyways, that's just my personal opinion. You might like that garbage. I don't. The other thing was I got some people that asked me, well, what happens if you use this is a 24-70. If you shoot 24 millimeters with this, a EF lens in comparison to an EFS lens, right? What does it look like? So this right here is an 18-55 EFS lens. And let me pull this up on the screen. You can see this. So this image right here is from the 18-55 at 24 millimeters. And you can see how it's kind of punched in. And now you can see the exact same image. This is a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor that I use. And as you can see, with the proper 24 millimeter 24-70 set to 24 millimeters, you're getting a lot more in frame. So there is a difference, obviously. But what is really cool here is that you have the ability to use these lenses. So when you use a EOS R series, you can just grab an adapter and throw on whatever you want. You could throw on an EF lens, you could throw on an EFS lens, or you can pull it off and use your R lenses, which I think is fantastic. Now, originally when I saw this, I said, God, I hate adapting anything, all right? Because you're gonna lose light, you're gonna lose performance, you're gonna lose your AF, you're gonna lose whatever. The thing is I think Canon shot themselves in the foot when it comes to this adapter. This adapter is so damn good, I don't even know. It's just stupid. Like I got the basic $100 adapter, 99 bucks, because I don't need the multifunction ring because I don't use it, number one. Also, I don't use ND filters very often, but if you want to spend $199 instead of $99, I think it's $199, let's just say, you can get an adapter that has slip-in ND filters. So your ND filters are inside your adapter, so you now no longer have to buy NDs for the front end of all of your glass, all different sizes or whatnot. It's literally right here in the adapter. That is just smart. I just love that. You know, I love that. I think that's the coolest thing. So I don't think that it is bad having this adapter because it is small. It's not that big. It doesn't add that much weight and it just gives you added functionality. So will I be taking this off very often? Probably not. I'll probably use, once again, tens of thousands of dollars of EF lenses that I have. I'll just throw it on this camera and just use it the way it is. That's until the R1 comes out. And I'll get into that in just a second. But let's look at the price or the value. And that's what a lot of people are looking for today. Prices for food and for gas and for homes, everything is just crazy. Inflation is nuts. People are just simply not making enough when it comes to the amount of inflation that's going on. The price of things just going through the roof. So your dollar just doesn't go as far anymore. So value is so important. And that is what's been going on in the camera market for numerous years. People are looking at cameras and saying, you know, that's good enough. I don't need the latest and greatest. Back in the day when we went from film to digital, the camera manufacturers were putting out cameras like every 6 months, sometimes 3 months. It was just crazy, absolutely crazy. And now we see this slowing every year, every 2 years. Why? Because people are not buying them, period, end of story. And the prices of these things are just going absolutely just outrageous. So coming full circle, I bought this refurbished, right? Because Canon had a really good deal on it. And just so you know, I buy refurbished a lot. Why? Because the camera ends up being a year, 2 years old or whatnot. This one is obviously about 3.5 years old since it was created back in 2018. But looking at the price itself, in 2018, this camera was $2,299. Let's call it $2,300 for this camera. Well, as of the other day when I bought this, refurbished from Canon themselves, the body itself was $1,619. Not $2,299, $1,619. Well, they threw in a backpack, which was like $30, $29.99. And then, guys, they gave me an additional discount of $350. Let's call it $349.99, $350. So the total for this camera, the body, battery, the strap, the basics that come with the camera itself was $1,299, guys. Literally $1,000 than what this was when it came out three and a half years ago. 50%. So this is the reason why I do this, because now someone else took the hit, right? Let's say they drove this off the lot and lost 50% value in 3 years, let's just say, all right? Now, this thing will continue to depreciate. They don't go up, they only go down. Cameras are like toilet paper. You throw them away and you get new ones all the time, whereas lenses are more like for a lifetime. You get the lens and you keep it for a long period of time. So for me, I don't like spending a lot of money on a camera because they simply do not hold their value and they constantly just depreciate, just sitting there. They're horrible when it comes to that. So I personally think that it's a great idea to look at refurbished and refurbished from the manufacturer themselves. Now, just to give you context here, I looked up other EOS models like an R5, I looked up the R6. They actually had an R6 and the 5D Mark IV in the refurbished area. So the 5D Mark IV, for example, which I was originally going to buy, was $2,499, $2,500, no discount, $2,500. So I basically got the exact same camera, a little bit, let's say, smaller. It's mirrorless. It doesn't have that really rugged body, that magnesium body like the 5D Mark IV does. But for what my use case is, this is enough. And for half price, it would just be stupid for me to buy the exact same camera with less functionality. The idea that the R1 will be coming out very soon, most likely I'll buy it for $6,000, $7,000 when it comes out, because that is like my workhorse. The 1Ds are just a beast. I have a 1D over there that is just old. It's probably 8, 10 years old, and the damn thing probably has about 500,000 or more, right around 500,000 shots on it with the same damn shutter. It's crazy, right? It's a Volvo. I don't know. It's a beast, all right? So I will probably get one and go against everything that I know and love and just told you, but I will most likely get one. Maybe not, but we will see how the market goes, how inflation is at that point and everything else. That is one of the reasons why I ended up going with the EOS R, because it does give me that backup to my 5D Mark IV without buying another 5D Mark IV for double the price. The other questions that I always get from people is it safe to buy refurbished? And also, is there a warranty when you do so? And the first part when it comes to is it safe, I've bought many refurbished cameras and they all have lasted as long as the new ones, okay? There's no difference. And there's one thing about buying refurbished that people don't think about. It has basically been picked through and tested twice instead of once. The first time when it went out, it ended up having a bad whatever, and it was sent back. And now it was refurbished, and they found the problem, they fixed the problem, so now everything had to be going over again. So it's like a double test when it comes to refurbished. So I've never had any bad experiences with refurbished cameras. It's always been a positive experience. And when it comes to warranty, yes, you end up with a 1-year warranty with the refurbished camera. Also, if you want to buy an extended warranty for 2 or even 4 years, it'll cost you a couple $100, and then you can have like a warranty forever. 4 years, that's basically forever for one of these, right? It's a long time. So anyways, these are my thoughts. I think that this is something that you should look at. Go check it out. Once again, right now it's like $350 in the store, $1,299 for a full frame mirrorless camera today is insane. And the value that you get for this EOS R, I think it is looked over and extremely underrated in comparison to other cameras that are out there. So if you've gotten any value from this video, as I always say, please throw it a thumbs up. That would be awesome. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click this little bell icon over here so when I go live or when a new video comes out, you'll be notified of it immediately. Don't forget to pick up those ebooks. They're free. JCristina.com/books. And finally, Head over to my website, JCristina.com, where you can find all the photography tools I've invented for you and me over the years, and hopefully there's something there that you might like. And if there is, please pick it up and support me and my family. That's it, guys. I'm out of here for yet another vlog. Many blessings to you and your family. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next one. Love you all.